People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. Women seem wicked when you're unwanted. Streets are uneven when you're down. When you're strange, faces come out of the rain. When you're strange, no one remembers your name. When you're strange, when you're strange, when you're strange. Alright, yeah.
I want to introduce the host of Strange Darkness Radio, Bobby Washington and Tony Carr.
Welcome back to another episode of Strange Darkness Radio. Hey, what's going on, Tony?
Yo, man. What's up?
Oh, nothing much. On tonight's show, we have a special guest, one of Tony's friends, and her name is Denise. She'll be joining us for a great talk in the paranormal realm since she's had so many experiences. Hello, welcome to the show, Denise.
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me.
Yo, what's up?
Well, thank you for coming on the show. And we're actually going to get right in to your paranormal stories.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back.
You are listening to Strange Darkness Radio with Bobby and Tony from the Podbeam Network.
Hello.
How you doing today?
Oh, good. How are you guys?
I'm doing great.
Good. Oh, me and Bobby was talking about UFOs before you called. What is your opinion on UFOs? Do you believe they're real? Have you ever seen one or experienced one? Like, what's your opinion on them?
You know what? I have never seen a UFO. I have seen like stuff on TV, and I've had like my parents tell me things that they've seen like in their country. And I don't know, like recently I was watching too, like something on TV, like Unsolved Mysteries, and it's like people who have reported something have seen it. So it's like when so many people are talking about something that they've seen, it's like maybe they do exist. Maybe there is something out there that we can't explain, but I don't know, man. I think for me, like I have to see it. I have to see it to believe it.
So you've never had any type of UFO sighting or anything you couldn't explain in the skies or anything like that?
Not in the skies. No,
Okay.
nothing UFO-ish. Like I said, my parents have. My dad, I think in particular, has told me a story where he saw something back in Mexico that he cannot explain.
Okay.
But I have not. No.
Okay. Well, Denise is on the show tonight to talk about her paranormal experiences, and from what I hear, they're pretty involved. So you know, you're obviously have had different paranormal experiences.
Right.
Is this from like what age did any of this start? Was it when you were younger or older?
You know what? It started when I was a little girl, actually. My mom would tell me that when I was like about 3 or 4, I would actually see somebody, like where I used to live. I don't live there anymore, but back where I used to live, I would see somebody and I would talk to them, but I do not remember this person that I would talk to. And it wasn't like it was an imaginary friend because I was so detailed with how she looked and who she was. And like I would comb her hair and I would actually be running my fingers through her hair. And
That's crazy.
Right, yeah. And then, at first they thought like, oh, just an imaginary friend. But when they would see me like performing these actions, they were like, nah, this is something more than that, And then I do remember seeing somebody when I was 4, like a detailed person. But then as I got older, it's like I couldn't see the details of them anymore. Just shadows, but like I could tell if it was a girl or a boy, like a man or a female, because of the outline of it. But I couldn't. It was just a shadow, And then slowly, as I got older, the shadows just turned into like quick shadows passing by, couldn't even see outlines anymore. And now it's more like, instead of seeing things, now it's more things that happen to me that I cannot explain. That,
wow.
you know, no matter how much I try, like, to make sense of it, like, oh, maybe some logical explanation, it's just weird. Like, I can't explain certain things that have happened to me.
Mm-hmm. Now, real quick, I don't want to get away from what you were saying about your parents seeing you actually interact with someone, and you were running your fingers through the person's hair. So you
Yes.
physically felt this person, but they were watching you, but nothing was there. But you physically were doing this act.
Correct. Yeah. And, you know, I had a babysitter too. And like I said, this is when I was like 3 or 4. I had a babysitter, and my babysitter would actually complain to my mom, like, hey, your daughter's fine, but her little imaginary friend is starting to creep me out because I
wow.
was so like I would have full on conversations with her, and I would wait for her to answer me and everything. Like, it wasn't just like a regular imaginary friend type of thing.
Yeah.
And like there was an instance too one time where I was watching TV, and I was like weaving back and forth, like if something was blocking my view from the television. And my mom walks in, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I can't see the TV. The girl is standing right in front of the TV. She won't let me watch TV." And my mom was like, "No, no, no, no. Come on, girl, leave my daughter alone. Just leave her alone." And
Uh-huh.
I was like, "See, she left. Like, she's gone." Like, you know, thinking I'm going to play along. And I was like, "No, she's still there. She didn't listen to you. She still wanted me to watch TV." And
Wow.
then that's when my mom was like, "Okay." Because, you know, kids usually just go along with whatever their parents say. And
Mm-hmm.
I was so adamant,
Yep.
like, "Nah, this girl's still there. She's not moving." And like just my interactions with her was what was creeping out both my sister and my parents, because it was just like if it was a real person, but they could not see who this person was.
Yeah.
I don't understand how parents don't believe their children when they tell them, like, "Hey, I'm seeing this person," or "I have a friend," or "Oh, something happened to me," and you know the parents be like, "Oh, you're just fine. You're tripping." Fuck that. You tell me something, I believe you. Tell me
Yeah.
something. As
Right.
soon as you see something, don't. I'm going to believe you 100%.
Yeah. The second your son says that, you're busting out the sage.
No, for real. We're leaving. No, bro. Like, you see something crazy, let me know, because we'll be gone.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
exactly. So what's interesting though is I like how you said that in the beginning the girl was solid, she was there, but that as time went on, she became a shadow, and then just something you would see out of the corners of your eyes, as far as, you know, whether or not that was still her. I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but you know, because they say kids are open, you know, to more
Yeah.
of the other side, and then as they get older, they lose that ability, especially if they're not honing it, and you know they don't have the gift to see you know, apparitions and people who have passed away. Do you know if you
Right.
have that
Yeah.
gift at all by any chance?
You know what? I don't know. My mom always thought it was like a gift because she said somebody told her, I don't remember who to be honest, but she said someone had told her that when you pass away, you bring something back with you. If you end up surviving, like if you come back to life, you
Mm-hmm.
bring something back with you. And then she tells me that I did pass away in her stomach while
Whoa.
she was pregnant with me.
Oh wow.
Like, you know, she went in for a regular doctor's appointment. Like, you know, she wasn't due yet. She went in for a regular doctor's appointment, and then they were like, you know, her heart has stopped. Like, we need to get her out and try to bring her back to life. And they did. And so she kind of thinks that's the reason why things
Mm.
like that would happen to me. I honestly don't have an explanation for it, but I don't know. It is very weird. And going back to the shadow thing, yeah, like I no longer saw this girl, but years later, I remember waking up in the middle of the night, and at the time, I was kind of scared to sleep by myself because like there was a major earthquake that had happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I was still kind of scared, and I was sleeping in my parents' room, but like in a separate room. I mean,
Yeah.
a separate bed. I'm sorry. And I woke up in the middle of the night and I couldn't see, like I said, I couldn't see details, but I saw a shadow of a young girl. I knew she was a young girl. And I could see like her hair, but I couldn't make out her face. And I could see a hand, and she was just waving over my dad. Like she was waving her hand over my dad, like back and forth, back and forth. And I was like crying
That's
my eyes
creepy.
out. I couldn't
Man.
explain it. And my mom woke up and she was like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And I'm like, the girl, she's there, she's there." And my mom was trying to calm me down, and she was like, "No, no, you're dreaming, you're dreaming." She's like, wake up, you're fine now." And I go, "No." And she's like, "Look." And she's trying to show me, like, "Look at your dad, there's nobody there." And
Yeah.
I look over and I could clearly still see
Still
this
see the
girl. And I
girl.
was like,
Wow.
"Yeah." And I'm like, "No,
That's
she's
incredible.
still there." And right. And that's when my mom panicked because she's like, "No, she's awake." Like, she
Yeah.
is seeing whatever's there. And my mom still couldn't see whoever it was that I was seeing.
Did you did you make any sense of what she was actually doing to your father at the time? Do you think she was like
No,
pulling his soul out or healing him, or just something that, how did he anything happen to him, or did he just had like a great year that year or that day, or
no,
didn't
he
feel well?
seemed perfectly fine. No, he seemed perfectly fine. Like I told him, he's not very much of a believer of anything.
Yeah.
So he's just kind of like, thinking I'm just, probably crazy or something. But he felt fine. It was just weird. Like it was a weird notion. It wasn't normal. Like whatever it was that she was doing, that she was
Mm-hmm.
just waving her hand over his body. And I don't know exactly what she was doing, but
It's
Because
almost like an
I
old
know it was
friend
weird.
saying, hey, remember me.
yeah, because the interesting
She was
about it,
young though.
to me, the interesting thing about it is that it could have been his attachment that was bound to him, but you had the ability to see, since she was working on him. Because I have heard
Right,
of
yeah.
entities that work on people while they're sleeping, be it good, be it bad,
Oh,
be it,
yeah.
just to have control and keep control of that person or to stay with them. They do what is called working on them, they do works on them. And so that's it.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's really interesting.
Now,
That I did not know.
when was the last time that Denise, you had a paranormal experience?
Oh my god. Not too long ago actually.
Oh, wow.
Just about a few weeks ago. Yeah.
You
I'm
might
telling
have
you,
the
it's just
attachments.
She does text me.
probably,
She texts me and my
yeah.
girlfriend. And she goes in full depth of what just happened, and I'm
Yeah.
like, God damn.
It's like I said, now it's not so much things that I see, now it's just things that happen that I cannot explain for the life of me. And I try, because I'm trying not to freak myself out. And I'm trying to be logical about things. And it's just like, no, there's no way. There's no way this could have happened.
Yeah.
Just because,
What was it? What happened? I know
So
we're
the
gonna
most,
go. We're still gonna people out there. We're still gonna hear her stories and let her tell her stories. We're just so intrigued in asking these questions,
right.
Yeah.
and so we'll jump around a little bit, but we definitely will get the stories that she came on to tell. But go ahead, last story. Last incident.
So the most recent thing, like major thing, I guess. So my grandpa recently passed away, right?
Oh, I'm sorry to hear
And
that.
it's okay. It's okay. So he didn't live here with us. He lives in another country, but he would often come to visit us, right?
Yeah.
And he had like a distinct smell to him. I think it was like his cologne that I
Mhm.
could smell, right? And so I was out here and I was in the living room. I was washing dishes and I was washing this cutting board, and I went to go wedge it in between two dishes because I purposely said to myself like, oh, I don't want this cutting board to fall off like on top of all the dishes, so I wedged it in between other dishes so it wouldn't fall. And then my son was like, "Hey mom, can you charge my iPad for me?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I turned off the sink and I walked into my bedroom where he would, when he would come visit us, that's where he would sleep. And I went to go charge my iPad, and when I was there, like I just smelled him all of a sudden. I could smell him.
Yeah.
And I was like, why does it smell like him? Like he hasn't he hasn't been here. He hasn't come to visit us, and he's gone now. So, and as soon as I got a whiff of that, I heard like a bang, a banging noise coming from the kitchen. And my baby was like, what was that? I was like, I don't know. Probably something fell in the kitchen, you know?
Yeah.
Because I had just done dishes. I was like, oh, something fell. When I went to go into the kitchen to see what it was, that cutting board that I had wedged in between other dishes flew from across the room. Like it was in the complete opposite direction. Like if it had
Wow.
fallen, it would have landed like right in front of the sink or
Yeah.
something. But it was on the complete opposite side of the kitchen. And I was like, there's no way. Like how? It didn't just fall. Like it looked like someone had picked it up and flung it.
Yeah, that was your grandpa announcing himself. Because they say that, you know, when a
Probably.
loved one passes away, that they will come to you and you will smell, you know, whether it's their, you know, soap they use, a particular hair product, a cologne that they're notorious for wearing, that you will pick up that smell. And that is a sense that that person is visiting you or around you. So that is very
Right.
interesting.
So
That's
I
Yeah.
never experienced that, but when my grandmother passed away in 2019, I had a dream the day before she passed away. She was sick. She was dealing with 2 different types of cancer. And the last day I saw her, I gave her a hug, gave her a kiss. I said, you know, I'll see you later. You know, still hopeful. I don't think I was accepting that, you know, she was dying. So I go, so the day before she dies, I dreamt that I was at the house and I see her bending over and she looks healthy. You know, she's looking at me. I'm like, oh, you're looking a lot better. She's like, I am better. I feel better. And she was just smiling at me. You know, I'm good. I'm better. I was like, okay, cool. And that was it. And then I wake up and you know the next day she passed away. You know, which is crazy because it's like I feel like she came to me and was like, hey, don't worry.
yeah.
I'm fine. You know, I may be passing on, but you know, I'm good. Don't worry about me. Because I had a similar experience as well with my cousin. I would say when I was like 7, I believe he was handicapped and he had a disorder but he was cool. He was like I think like 20 something. I was like 7, so I would play with him a lot. So when he passed away, I was really sad. And he came to my dream. I had a dream about him. And this dream lasted a little longer. But this type of dream, because I can't control my dreams that often. But this dream and then with my grandma's dream, I was able to control it. And me and him was talking and you know, he got up from his wheelchair, you know, telling me the same thing, like, you know, I'm fine, don't worry about me. You know, we're good. But I never experienced like a smell, like my grandma's smell
Yeah.
in person. It's always just been dreams.
Well, I mean, you know, everybody, you know, has their way of how they come to you. And for her grandfather, that was hers. But for your grandmother, that was hers by coming to you in a dream and saying, I'm okay. And then, you know, moving, you know, to the next stage, you know, of her, you know, life and everything. So, yeah, that's probably
Yeah.
what that was.
Yeah, she was
Wow.
like she was super healthy, looked healthy. Because when she was
She
dying,
probably wanted you to see her like in a better state that she was in, you know, so
yeah,
that you wouldn't worry, like you said.
exactly. Because the last time I saw her, she was, you know, she was losing weight, you know, having problems breathing. And this was before COVID came out too. So I think we're kind of convinced as well with the symptoms she was going through and what she was going through. It kind of almost seems like it was COVID as well on top of the cancer that she was battling.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know, just the doctors couldn't understand what was going on. But we would ask the doctors, like, is she dying? You know, but they didn't.
They didn't know. And what's, you know,
I don't think they
tell
knew.
somebody
And I
that.
think if they did know, she didn't want us to know. So she
Oh,
told them not
okay.
to tell us. So that's another belief that we have. But when she was dying, I remember this. I was in the hospital with her because she was having problems breathing. It was me and my auntie. And we would talk to my grandma. And she would start dozing off. but it was weird because you can feel that her spirit wasn't there anymore in her body.
Mm-hmm.
And then she would talk. She would be talking, and then she would come back to us. And when she came back to us, you can feel it, like her spirit was back in the room.
Yeah.
My auntie looked at me and she was like, "Is it me, or is she going in and out of like different dimensions? Like, she's going, she's seeing the other side, but then she's tilting the other side and also life at the same time. Like, it was the weirdest situation that I've ever experienced."
Wow. That's incredible. That's a trip.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Because it's hard with that whole COVID thing and knowing what actually it was going on, and was it due to her catching that, and could they really tell that it was her, that she was in that dire of situation? Probably, who knows, man.
No, yeah, it's just crazy how that works.
All right, so Denise,
Yeah.
what is one something paranormal that happened to you that is just was just like a mind blower for you? Even though the first one was for sure, but
right. Another thing, there's something going on, like with my closet. Like it's very interesting. Let me tell you.
You have an entity.
So at work, yeah, I think so. I think there's something here in my home that I can't explain. And when I was in high school, I had actually a teacher who would talk to us about like playful spirits. She was French, and she said that in France that they believed in playful spirits that would hide things from you on purpose because it was fun for them. It was fun for them to watch you freak out, and that you would find these items way later. And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
Fast forward to now, and so a few months ago, actually, there was this guy at work, and so he makes his own custom stickers, right? And he just gives them out. He just gives them out to everybody at work all the time.
Okay.
Makes different characters and whatnot. And I had never met him before. And then I finally got a chance to meet him, and he was like, "Hey, you don't have any of my stickers." And I was like, "Well, no, it's the first time I'm meeting you."
Yeah.
And so he gave me like 3 stickers, right? And I was like, "Cool, I love the stickers. Thank you very much." So I come home that night and I'm talking to my boyfriend, and I'm like, I finally met the sticker guy. He gave me some stickers, and he was like, "Oh, let me see." And I was like, "Sure." So I opened my closet, because in my closet I have like these 3 shelves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I laid them down in the middle shelf and I took a picture of them. And I sent it to him, and I was like, "These are the stickers." And I just left them there. I didn't put them away. I just left them there, went to bed for the night. The next day, I was like, "Oh, let me show my mom these stickers that I got." And I go open my closet, and the stickers aren't there. And I was like, I'm positive they were here. Like, I took a picture of them last night. I even looked at the picture again, and I was like, yeah, this is where I took the picture. I knew I moved the stickers. And I went and I asked my mom, like, "Hey, did you have the stickers I had in my closet?" She's like, "I didn't even know you had stickers." I was like, "Well, yeah, I thought so, but I'm trying to make sense of it."
Mm-hmm.
I asked my dad. Again, he had no idea about the stickers. Let me tell you, my mom and I tore that closet up just because I was so curious. I was like, I know I have them in here.
Yeah.
We took out everything in that closet, and I could not find the stickers. Like, I could not find them at all. At all. They just disappeared. And she was like, "Maybe your son grabbed them." And I was like, "There's no way, because he can't reach that shelf. Like, he's too little. He can't even reach up there to grab them."
Yeah.
But whatever. I completely forgot about the stickers. So I was like, whatever. It is what it is. I lost them. I don't know how, but I lost them. Weeks later, I'm changing for work. I open up my closet to get out something from in there, and there they are, just laying there.
Wow.
Like, just in the same order. The same order that I had taken the picture. I went back and I looked at that picture, and they were in the same place, same order that I had taken them. Like nothing. Like if I had never touched them, they were just there.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow. So with any experiences you went through, have you ever felt
Uh-huh.
like somebody touching you, or you ever felt like a presence behind you or next to you, or like the uh the temperature goes down?
I don't think I've ever felt like somebody touched me. I have, like I said, I've smelled stuff before. Like even before my grandpa, I would get like sudden whiffs of perfume that I don't own. But I don't know who wears that perfume, so I don't know who I'm smelling. You
Yeah.
get me? Like I'm not associating the smell with anybody. But I just randomly, I will get like, and it won't be in the day. Like it'll be like at 2, 3 in the morning. I'm laying down watching TV, and then I'll just get like a random whiff of something that I can smell, and I'm like, I don't, I don't know who this person is, but I smell somebody, you know.
Yeah.
And again, never felt somebody touch me, but I have heard like the other day, I woke up in the middle of the night to use the restroom, and I heard the weird thing is I heard it in my mom's voice. I heard someone say "Hola," like they're saying hi,
Yeah.
and I thought it was my mom. Like I swear to you, it sounded like my mother. And I peeped in the hallway. It's like a dark hallway, and I was like, "You're awake?" And there's nobody there. But I heard it clear as day, and it
Mm.
sounded like my mom. And I went to go see her room, and she's asleep. But
Yeah.
it sounded just like her. So I feel like whatever it is, it's like messing with me, like trying to use her voice on purpose. Because it's not the first time I've heard her voice too, and it's not her.
So does your parents go through the? Do your parents ever see things like your mom? Because I know your dad is just like Paula's dad. They don't believe shit. They always think
Yeah,
it's something else.
but
They don't ever want to
yeah.
acknowledge what just happened. So does your
No, he's
parents
very
go through it, or like?
stubborn. Yeah. My dad,
Okay.
no. My dad does not. He's very like, I don't know. He shuts himself down to whatever it is, or he tries to make sense of it, and he's like, no, no, no. My mom, she has had some experiences here where I live too. Like she's seen a little boy like running across the living room. But she thought it was, this is back when I was little. So she thought it was me that was running across the living room, and she was like coming out, cussed me out, like, why are you still awake? And then she realized I was in bed. And it was like, no, like it was somebody else running across the living room, and she thought it was
Oh.
me. And she's had
Mm-mm.
like people knock on her door too, thinking it's like while she's in the bathroom. She's had somebody knock on her door, thinking it was one of us, and we're like, "No, we've been here in the living room. I don't know who's knocking on your door, but not us."
Mm.
That's interesting. So I bet your dad actually encounters things, but then he says, "Oh, it's because of the house, creaking. It's old. It's
Probably,
it's just
yeah,
making noises. The wood shifting, or a dish just moved because it wasn't placed, correctly in a rack or whatever.
yeah,
Just people who make excuses for things, but then they really
right,
know. They really know. But again, they're just brought up to where if they think about it and they actually believe it, it makes it more real.
yeah.
And you're not really supposed to do that. You're actually supposed to just push it away and act like it does. It doesn't really happen. So
That's what my mom tells me to do. She says, just ignore it. But it's hard for me to just ignore it. Like,
yeah.
as much as I try not to let it freak me out, it does. Like, I can't help it, but it does.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's been happening to you for a very long time. And, you must have a little something that, either your, you know, psychic intuition or just be, able to, some spirit is in that house for a reason, either trying to make contact or just, attached to someone, or it's a situation where, they're trying to communicate or they're just around, because it's just,
Right.
I mean, think about it as far as, I'm not sure if you've ever looked into anyone passing away in that house, because there's a website for any house or whatever you can look up. You can put, it's called, I think it's
Oh,
Died in House or whatever. And, they
uh
have
huh.
this site and it tells you, it goes back through your property or whatever. And it tells you if a person's ever passed away, in the house. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's creepy, man. But it's also interesting because if it was me, I'd probably be busting out K2 meters and recording audio, asking it questions, and see if I can get something or whatever. Especially, go ahead.
I think Tony actually tried doing that.
Oh, you did? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
he would tell me, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to anger anything that's already in here, so maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, other than it talking to you, it's like, opening that channel, when you were a child and bringing that back, because just, seeing something like that would be crazy. But so you've tried that, Tony, or what?
I was joking around. I do want to, though. Like the day she moves, and they can leave. The day she moves, and it's empty. I do want to go in there and do something.
Yeah.
But who knows? Because if it follows, hey, Denise, if it follows you to the next place, then shit, it's probably you that's
right.
Fucking
it's probably me. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have you ever had any situations to where things happen in your car, at work, at your boyfriend's house, at a loved one's house, or just something other than your house?
You know what? It's funny that you say that because recently I was at work. It's never really happened outside of work. I mean, outside of my house, okay. To be honest with you. But the other day I was having lunch and I was with a coworker and I had my lunch box, but I had it like off to the side. Like I had already taken out my lunch and I had it just off to the side, just sitting there. And I was in the middle of a conversation with my coworker and my lunch box, it just shook by itself. It just shook. And my coworker and I both looked at it and we were like, what the hell? She's like, did you see that? I was like, did you see that? Because am I going crazy? And no, we both saw it. Like it just shook. There was absolutely nothing in there. It wasn't on top of anything. It was just sitting on the table and it just shook back and forth, like out of nowhere.
Okay, let me ask you. She's the problem. Let me ask you this question. I want you to really think hard. Did you at all talk about or been thinking about coming on the show? As far as there's this show that my buddy does, and I'm gonna go on it. Did that occur at all? Because usually when people come on the show and and they know about it, or even me and Tony, when we're doing show prep, when we're talking about the show or doing whatever, certain paranormal things will happen.
No, all this weird. That I'm telling you, all of these stories have happened way before Tony.
Okay.
And you guys started your show, yeah. Yeah, and it's so funny because he told me like, well, you have lots of stories, and I'm like, I sure do. Like,
no, I'm just talking about the lunchbox based upon that just occurred or whatever, and I'm not sure how much ahead of time he told you about. The coming on the show and all that stuff, but because we do find that does happen, when you're, thinking about it and thinking about the stories and, you're just pulling things in and sometimes, things happens because especially for another person to see it, that is meaning it's not, it's physical. It's something physically happening, period, so yeah, that's interesting.
And that was that day that happened. That was the night that I heard my mom's voice while I was in the restroom and there was nobody there. Oh. Like it was like the two things that happened to me in the same day.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. She's the problem. She's the problem.
Wow.
Yeah, they're just calling you to work, man. It's not in your house no more. It's you.
Dang.
Oh my goodness.
That is too funny. So, let's see. Do you have any more stories, or do you have one more? If so, I want you to tell it, or we can just talk about what you think about the paranormal realm and all that good stuff. But I want you to think because we're gonna go ahead and take a break for a couple of seconds, whatever, just to let people know what's going on and who they're listening to and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and do that.
Make sure you check us out on Podbean, our hosting site. You can find us also on iTunes and Spotify.
You're listening to Strange Darkness Radio, coming to you worldwide, broadcasting to all corners of the planet.
Welcome back to Strange Darkness Radio.
I had to play these bumpers that Tony loves so much. Because you guys didn't know. It's a little inside joke there. But yeah, so yeah, let's get into one of your other stories. Or again, if you don't have one, something that you can't think of off the fly, we can talk about just, paranormal stuff in general, meaning, like just do you believe like 100%, or do you always say, you know what? I think because I saw that out of the corner of my eye, it wasn't real, like your mom was saying to put it off, or you're like 100% in.
No, I definitely believe that there's something else that we can't explain,
Yeah.
And my mom thinks that I draw it in because I freak out too much, like I'm too fearful. Like she's always told me, just ignore it and it'll go away. But because I don't ignore it, because I'm also curious, like I'm scared, but I'm also curious. So she thinks that I draw attention, or it feeds off of me, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And that's why things always happen to me. But I don't know, there's definitely something more, an afterlife, ghost, I don't know, whatever it is, like I can't explain, but I think I've had too many weird things happen to me for me to be like, no, it's nothing,
Yeah, exactly. Just a coincidence or any of that stuff. And another question is, so like Tony, have you ever delved into the Ouija board to where you actually tried to communicate with things that go on?
Hell no. That I will.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Good answer.
No. My mom traumatized me with the Ouija board when she made me watch The Exorcist when I was little. And I was like, no, thank you. I will not be dealing with that.
So you weren't in those Tony circles at that time.
No. I was not about that life at that time. No.
Yeah, I'm the same one. I'm the same way. Like I said, with my experiences that I've had, that I don't know if that's where I draw the line. It's just something that, I being raised, my mom, same way, like, nope, don't even think about it. And,
right.
Any type of communication to where you're going, into it looking, my mom's like, no, don't even think about it. Which again, I wasn't even trying because, things around me were just happening to happen. So I was curious, but I wasn't really going to knock on the door. I was pretty much, if you showed yourself, then I'm looking into it. I'm trying to figure it out. But I definitely wasn't going to just, pick up a phone and call you,
I mean, it definitely makes things worse, bro. You open up different doors so you don't know what you're messing with. You don't know what you're doing with it. And then shit, man, you be hunted for like 10 years down the line, scratches down your back, see things on the corner of your eye. Hey, man, I'd be traumatized over some shit sometimes. When I worked at DreamWorks, it was the scariest place I've worked at night, because at night the whole mood would change, and it was a big lot. It was a movie studio.
Yeah.
So I would have to walk when I was doing graveyard. I would have to do my patrols in these dark ass rooms, and I'd be scared like a motherfucker because I would just feel like this energy. Which going back to what she was saying, well, not to what she was saying, but anyways, about energy and spirits and stuff. It could be just like how they attach themselves to electric energy and drain all the batteries and shit. I do think they run off of our energy as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you put more into it, then it's like they give back. It's faster for them to react to it.
Yeah. No, I definitely believe that too. Just everything that the people that I talk to that actually delve into the Ouija boards, they, it's rare that when I hear a person talk about the Ouija board that they didn't have an incident that occurred or they didn't believe that something happened. A lot of the people are like, something did happen. Don't ever do it. You know what I'm saying? They
I think when I did it, I had did it so often that when I had first moved to LA, I was with my dad, and his stepdaughter was like, "Oh, I always wanted to play the Ouija board," and I was like, "Nah, I don't think you do, because shit, when I play it, things happen like right away."
Yeah.
And she didn't believe me, so I'm like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna make one. So I made a homemade one. We went down to the park and we played it, and we had got in contact with this kid, and I didn't feel no negative energy. I just knew that something was going to happen after the fact of us playing it, because that's what I was telling her. Like, every time I play it, within the day or two, there's always something that happens. And the spirit wanted us to come back the next night because his birthday supposedly was that night. And I was like, I'm not doing this shit. So I said that I said I wasn't going to do it, but I ended up doing it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
The next day in the garage, it looked like somebody went in the garage and threw everything all over the fucking place. Like, somebody went in there and just destroyed the whole place. And I told her, I was like, look, I told you something was going to happen. My dad got all pissed off and shit, but it was a demonstration.
Yeah.
So I was trying to show them, like, well, with my experience,
I'll show you my power. Dang.
With my experience, it happens right away. It always happens right away.
Because the thing with the Ouija board too, it's like it could be something like saying like, yeah, I'm a kid, but you don't know if it's really a kid. You could be dealing with something greater, more powerful.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's just pretending to be something else, and I'd rather not mess with any of that.
It's some scary shit. It's some scary shit.
Yeah.
I've gotten scratches on my back. I feel like after I first played it, I think for like the first 10 years, things would happen, things would fall. I would walk past like the kitchen, and as soon as I walk past the kitchen, a couple say like a plate will fall, or the paper towels will fall off the top of the fridge. It was just always some weird shit. And I will always get scratches on my back.
Yeah.
Like once a year. And Paula thinks it's because she thinks it's the day I first played the Ouija board. So it's like an anniversary shit or something like that, to the point where I'm getting scratches all the time. But I haven't got scratches in a good while.
Mm-hmm. Dang, that's crazy. So you've never investigated those whole thing, with the scratches and all that stuff? You've never, like, whether it's something in your sheet on your bed, something that you don't have a cat or anything like that, or
Nah. I would start feeling it. Like, I could feel a burn.
Oh,
like
okay,
appear. Like it. Yeah, it would just as soon as it would come, I would feel it. Like it would be itching, feeling, and then after it itches, it would start to immediately burn.
Yeah,
and then that's what I would know. Like, damn, I got scratched. And then sure enough, I'd take my shirt off, and Paula would look at it. There'd be 3 scratches going down my back. I got a couple of pictures actually.
Yeah. Wow.
I remember you showing me the pictures.
Yeah. Like one time I went to go take the dog out. I wasn't by no thorn bush. I wasn't by any bushes. And my back started itching, and I was like, I got scratched. I started feeling the burn, and soon enough, I went upstairs, and Paul was like, "Yep, you got 3 scratches on your back."
Wow, that's crazy. Denise, have you ever had any scratches or anything that you couldn't explain?
Not bad like that. I have woken up with like bruises, on my body, but no, nothing as far as scratches like that. That seems a little bit more severe.
Yeah, I don't know though. Bruises would be more that's more physical. You know what I'm saying? Like scratches,
yeah, that's
just
like sucking
light
the life out of you.
nails, but a bruise takes a little bit more oomph.
But it's weird because they don't hurt. They're not bruises that hurt, but it's like they're like big and purple, but they don't hurt. Like if I had like banged myself on something, they're not hurting, but it's just like, where did that come from? It's just random.
Yeah.
Like there's times it happened to me here at my apartment now. It happened to me at work about 8 years ago. At work, I went to the bathroom. It was just me because it was closed off. It was like a smud company, but out there it was what's the electric company out there, Denise?
LADWP. I don't know.
It's like, I don't know, but they take my money.
Place.
Right.
I forgot. That's the water place.
It's water
I
and
can't
power,
remember.
man.
Okay, I can't remember. Anyways, I went into the bathroom and I saw a handprint on the window, and I was like, "Bro, I'm the only person in here. There's no way a handprint should be, in the way I could see his fingers. I could see the, the lines and stuff. How your finger is, everybody's finger is different.
Yeah.
Um, so that happened before. That tripped me out because like I said, I was the only one there. And then here, I was in the shower and I was listening to a paranormal podcast. I think this was before we even started. We was talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, my phone stopped. It just stopped, stopped playing the audio. And I looked, opened the door, and then my phone was completely turned off. But then I looked at the window, and there was a handprint, but it was starting to form because of the so I'm sorry, I'm blanking. Because of the mist or the fog of the shower beyond.
Yeah, the steam.
The steam. There you go, the steam. So you see the handprint, and it starts to get more it's showing itself more. Like the handprint is starting to become
materializing more. It's
because of the mist and shit, which was weird as hell. I tried taking a picture, but if I would have took a picture, you would have saw my bare ass, and so I was like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm not gonna."
Yeah, don't nobody want to see that.
And I tried taking it. I was like, I need to show this picture, but you can see my ass and shit. I'm like, nah, never mind.
So you took the picture.
I think that's probably scarier than the handprint.
Okay, I did take it.
You do know that you can edit it to where you just have the actual mirror opposed to in the little corner or whatever
I was in a rush trying to get to work, so
yeah,
I didn't even think about that. All I thought about was like, you gonna see this
ladies
black
and gentlemen,
ass.
we might post that or whatever, and we will blur his butt out. No, I'm just joking. That's funny though. That's funny. That's funny. That's a good one.
So Denise,
that would be more traumatizing.
Exactly.
Oh, man. Denise, so all these experiences that you had, what is the one that was like the most memorable, that traumatized you the most?
I think I don't know if you remember me telling you that the stuff that was happening to me when I started reading the book, The Exorcist.
Me
stuff that was happening.
Me and Bobby was talking about that. I think it was like the first or second episode about the Exorcist book, but I couldn't remember the full details, so I kind of sounded stupid trying to tell it. But you can tell it because you're on here, because it was creepy.
Yeah. So, like I said, my mom traumatized me with that movie when I was little. She had me watch that, and I don't know. I got a fear from that movie. Like, to this day, I cannot watch that stupid movie, which sounds ridiculous because I'm a grown woman, but still, I can't watch that movie.
It's very true.
And yeah, he knows because he'd be sending me shit all the time to scare me. But my mom, she was like, "Why don't you read the book to try to help you get over that fear?" And I was like, "How is that gonna help me?" Because I feel like you imagine it more in your head and it's more scary. And she's like, "I don't know, just try it. Just try reading it and maybe you'll get over it." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." So I go and I bought the book, and I never had time to read it in the daytime, which would have been the more logical thing to do. So I would always read it in my room alone before bedtime, just laying down in bed, reading my book. And at first it was like nothing, but as I got into like more of it, like the creepier parts of the book, strange things started to happen where like I would hear a baby crying, but there's no babies like anywhere near where I live. Like there's no children. At the time I didn't even have my son, so there's no baby, but I could hear a baby crying. Or I would hear like stuff in my closet like moving around, and like I could hear like a bag that was crinkling, like if something was in there, like just crinkling a bag. And I'm like, well, I know I don't have rats or anything, so I'm not about to go in there and investigate though, like just weird stuff like that. Like I would hear things. Not so much seeing things, but it was just, my TV would turn on by itself where I did not have like the remote anywhere near me. Like I thought, oh, maybe I rolled on it.
Mm-hmm.
And no, like the remote would be like super far away from me. And like I would tell my mom these things, and she was like, "No, it's just in your head because you're reading the book." And I'm like, "It's not in my head. Like it's happening every night. Like every night when I read this, like I can hear the noises. I can hear the shuffling around in my closet. Like there's something there." And she was like, "No, you're tripping. Like there's nothing there." And I swore up and down to her. So she was like, "Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go sleep in your room with you while you read this stupid book to
Yeah.
tell you that you're crazy." And I was like, "Okay, sure." But and so she's laying down next to me. She had already like fallen asleep, and I'm reading my book, and the crying starts, like the baby crying,
Oh,
and
wow.
the crinkling starts. The crinkling starts in my closet, like somebody's messing in there. And I go to wake her up, but she's already awake because this time it's louder. She's already awake. And so before I can even like tell her, "Do you hear it?" She looks at me and she's like, "I hear it." And I was like, "So what is it then?" And so she gets up and she's like, "There's got to be something in your closet." And she went inside the closet. She opened it up. There's nothing. As soon as she opened it up, the noise stopped. And
Oh,
she's
wow.
like looking through it. There's not even a bag in there. There's not even a plastic bag in there. And it sounded like it was a plastic bag that was just crinkly.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm done with this book. And I gave it to Tony. I was like, "Hey,
Yeah,
Tony, you can have this
she,
stupid book."
she told me about the experience, and I was like, you know what? I need to read it so I can see if that's true or not.
Yeah,
To
if it
kind of
happens to you.
yeah, and so, but I took the book, and I was I was scared to read it. I never read it. It was just in my trunk, and I ended up giving it to a coworker of mine. So I'm like, "Here, bro, you can have it because I'm not going to read it."
Oh, man.
But the weird
Just
thing
pass
about
it
the
along.
whole baby sounds and shit. I know people probably if people listening, they're probably thinking like this motherfucker have a lot of stories and a lot of shit that he goes through, but it's all true.
Yeah.
Back in high school, I went to go walk to Wendy's. Long story short, I was on my way back home, but where I live when I used to live in Elk Grove, it was a trail, a river trail. And so I was walking back, and it was probably, I can't remember the time, but it was dark. And I'm walking, and I see this black cat, I say about 10 feet away from me, 5 feet away from me. And the more I'm walking closer to the cat, because I gotta pass the cat so I can get home.
Yeah.
I hear a baby like in the bush, and it was crying. I was like, "What the fuck?" And so this cat was staring at me, and not one time did this cat look a different direction. It had his eyes on me the whole time. And the more I got closer, the more the louder the baby crying got. Until I was like, you know what, I gotta figure out what the hell's going on. I was like, there's no way there's a baby in the bushes. I'm tripping. So, I was scared at first, but I was like, I'm gonna go up to the bush and see if there's really anything in there, which I know for a fact there's no fucking baby in the bush.
Yeah.
But while I'm getting closer to the bush, and the baby's noises, the crying gets louder and louder. It gets more intense until I get right to I approach
Where the sound's coming from.
where the sound's coming from. I started looking through the bushes. There was nothing there. It was the weirdest thing, and that was the only time that's ever happened to me.
And it wasn't the cat, though, because cats can sometimes sound like baby crying.
Shit, I don't know. It was a black cat, but it
Okay.
scared the hell out of me.
Yeah.
I didn't know cats can do that.
Yeah, cats can do that. But also I would have been tripping, like, did someone abandon a child in this brush? And let me see what's happening. But also, demonic spirits, whatever, take on the voices of different things and babies and innocent, things to draw you in. And then
Right.
you go looking, and next thing you got some following you home.
Yeah, but I
But
would have been possessed if something did come home, because I did check.
yeah, that's interesting. Dang. You
I didn't know cats can do that though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'll hear
The whole time I'm thinking it's paranormal shit. It's probably just a cat fucking with me.
Well, that's why. That's why I asked. Did you see the cat? Did the cat stop?
It was right. The cat was there. Like the cat was not leaving. It was stuck right there until I got closer, and then the cat ended up running away. But
you didn't see him moving his mouth or she or whatever.
Nah. It was staring at me. No mouth was moving. No, I know when they make noises, their stomach moves and stuff. And nothing. Mm-hmm. It was nothing.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Maybe it was paranormal. Who knows?
Yeah, it's one of those. You just don't know things.
I wasn't fucking with it though.
That's too funny.
No, so at work, because I don't know, Bobby, if you experienced this, because I remember the people at work would say, "Hey, I experience this shit sometimes. Sometimes when I'm by myself and I'm working, I'm always looking because I feel like I'm seeing somebody run or walk on my vision, on my side vision. I'm always checking, and it always scares the fuck out of me. I'm like, I'm by myself because, there's people that's on their lunch and I work nights. I probably look and turn my head probably like 10 times a night. Yeah. Because I constantly think that somebody is walking, by when nobody's there. No,
I've never, we built that building. So we're the, it's on a military base. But we have that building built from scratch, and I've been there ever since it was built. And it used to be old barracks or whatever area that it was built, under or above. And I've never had any issues there, and I've worked nights by myself, whatever, repping and all that stuff.
I must be tripping.
So I've never had that happen. Even in the old building, I've never had any craziness like that or whatever at work. So no, not me anyways. But again, you never know though. I mean, if something is, if it's coming with you, you can have a party every night. So
no.
So you just never know. But I want to say, Denise, man, thanks for coming on the show.
Of course.
Yeah, it's been an amazing time, and you have some great stories, and hopefully you'll come back on and tell us more, and more of your stories or whatever and all that good stuff. But yeah, no, it's nice, Tony.
Yeah.
That's what you got. That's what you got in your back pocket.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on. No, but she does got some crazy ass stories. We can be here all night.
Yeah,
and talk about these stories.
Exactly.
That she go through, which she's possessed.
Are you possessed?
I'm not possessed.
Well, Denise, again, thank you for coming on Strange Darkness Radio.
For sure.
And that is the end of our night. All right, we're out. Peace.
I am Buzz Aldrin, and I was the lunar module pilot on Apollo 11.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth. No single space project in this period will be more impressive to mankind or more important for the long-range exploration of space, and none will be so difficult or expensive to accomplish.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
The truth is that we've never proved one, but there are things flying around up there that we haven't fully identified yet. And keep in mind, there are basically 1 billion galaxies in an ever-expanding universe. I mean, you can't even get your mind around the sheer number of things that are out there.
People still take seriously trying to investigate and figure out what that is. There are there's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are. We can't explain how they moved, their trajectory. They did not have an easily explainable pattern. When it comes to aliens, there's some things I just can't tell you.